Starting a new job can be challenging, especially if you're transitioning to a bigger company. It can be easy to feel like an outsider. This afternoon, Dr. Brenda Lloyd-Jones is here with her expert advice. Dr. Brenda, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure, Jonathan.
I like your blue. We're matching today.
Oh, we are.
Yep. Well, let's get started. We have a viewer named Martin who sent us this question this week. He says, I've been working at my job for a year now, but I still feel like an outsider. I'm rarely invited to lunches or after-work activities, and people tend to turn down my invitations. How can I become part of the in-group at work?
Oh, what a juicy question.
It is, you know. You think about high school being like that, but not the workplace, but it is.
It is. That's a real thing he's talking about. You know, I just spoke with my students in human relations about this notion of in-group and out-group, and number one, Martin has done my first suggestion, and that would be to reach out to people, and unfortunately he has received rejection. So the next step is to think about interacting with people outside of his team or his department. And a great resource would be the Human Resources Department, because they will know all the committees who are interested in new members joining. And when he can find a committee that interests him, then he will be exposed to a wide variety and diversity of people who he can connect with, and then move from there. This is important because some people want to connect with people with whom they work. Consequently, their job satisfaction and their work performance tend to do better if they can make that connection. And so leaders are really incumbent, or it is important that they seek out opportunities for these individuals so that they can have a sense of belonging and a sense of community.
Okay, our second question today comes from Viola. And Viola says, as much as communication is at the heart of most issues, sometimes I feel like I am over-analyzing and over-explaining things. How can I know that I'm not over-communicating?
Oh, another great question. You know, over-communication is simply the communicating generally too much or when unnecessary. And we all tend to do this at times. According to research, it tends to happen when we are worried about individuals or groups receiving our information, understanding it, and then implementing it. So what can we do about this? Well, we can start with the reason for our communication. So at the beginning of the discussion, let the listeners know what you expect the communication to accomplish. For example, if you are talking to your work group, you might start with, after this discussion, I would like for us to decide on using a new template for reaching our potential customers. This way they know up front, and they can begin guiding and helping certainly the communication. If it's personal, however, you can do the same thing. You can say, you know, after we're done with this talk, I'd like for us to decide together how we will spend the income tax return this year. And that way, again, the person knows what the end goal is, and they can begin to think about, while they're communicating, what's necessary to be communicated.
All right, good advice. Dr. Brenda, thanks for being here. Good to see you.
It's my pleasure, Jonathan.